What is up, y'all? Welcome to, I think this is the first episode with the video format for the Wall of Death podcast. Every single week, it's usually just me, but now it's a three-way. And we review albums every single week that is voted on by our Patreon. I have done over 100 different reviews up to this point. Every week, I rate and rank said album, and then I put it all on a list and I rank them at the end of every episode. But this week we're doing something a little different. We haven't done something like this on the podcast yet, which is we are ranking every single Breaking Benjamin album, excluding the greatest hits and the EP. So just the seven big releases. I think we all kind of know what number one is. If number one is different, we have issues. But
that's fair. I can't argue.
We have issues. So I don't think look, I told Chris this last night. Number one's gonna be obvious.
Yeah,
but it's the journey. This is the journey that gets us to number one. Okay. That is where the core of the content is gonna come from.
Wait, we're doing Breaking Benjamin?
Fuck, I thought we were doing Godsmack.
I thought it was Disturbed. Oh shit.
Oh god. Don't get him started with that.
No, I will say number one probably will be 100% a unanimous decision. But when we get there, I will discuss. It was a harder choice than I imagined it would be after listening to everything multiple times. We'll talk more about it there. But it's the best.
It's like talking about Shinedown, how their first album is perfect.
It is the best. And again, I will discuss further as we get closer. But it wasn't as far ahead of my number two as I initially thought it would be. I'll just leave it at that.
That's fair enough,
sir. It's gonna get this is going hot and heavy in here.
Someone's gonna get stricken.
But before we jump into
fists.
Before we jump into the episode, I'm Matt Primo, Christian Valencia.
Hey, how are y'all?
And Chris Norman down there at the bottom right.
What's up?
And like I said, this is the Wall of Death podcast. If you are listening to this on YouTube, just know this is not a weekly thing. Well, it is a weekly thing. It's not a weekly thing for y'all. This is a Patreon exclusive podcast. Patreon.com/2game. That is the number 2. Supports at any of those tiers, and that's how you get access to this weekly exclusive podcast. Like I said, over 100 different reviews that I've done so far. I think in actual specific albums that I've done, I think I'm up to almost 90. So come join us there and you'll get access to this content. This is kind of a little teaser for y'all. All right.
Oh,
I like to tease everybody, you know what I'm saying? A little cock tease.
we know.
Do you? Do you now?
You don't like to please. You just tease.
Nah. It's just in and out real quick.
Shout out. All right. Number 7. We'll go from Christian to Chris, and then I'll go last. Look, if number 7 isn't all fucking unanimous here, we have issues again, okay? Christian, what's your number 7?
Oh, you're going to be mad, sir. I already know where you're going.
Mine is Aurora all day.
And why is that? Other than it's absolute trash.
Because
we are not going to do this in 30 minutes. I hope you're aware.
Oh, he's right. He's not. It's not going to happen. But anyway, because we were hyped for this album, hyped up. All these artists are coming in to collab with Breaking Benjamin. Fuck yes. And it's acoustic. Sign me the fuck up. That's not what they delivered. It was not acoustic by shit. I mean, I'm not mad about Ben singing because Ben's got that voice and that soothes my penis, but he did not let a lot of those other artists shine like he should have. There was only like 2 songs on there that I enjoyed, and that's pushing it. Other than that, it was not. They did not deliver, and we all know how much of a Breaking Benjamin fan I am, and it just, it was bad. It's horrible. Mm-mm.
Chris?
Yeah, this is gonna be a dirty three-way, and I'm gonna be stuck in the middle. My number 7 is Ember. Okay, before I
I can
begin,
see that.
there is
I can see that.
there is not a Breaking Benjamin album I dislike. All right, I don't shit on Aurora. I don't hate Aurora. I don't hate any of them. But in ranking them, Ember is my least favorite only because the front half of the album is unskippable up through The Dark of You. Every song on there, banger, 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 love it, absolutely love it. And then after that, I could listen to it, I could not listen to it. And that's really the only album that I have such a split ratio of songs I love versus songs that I'm just kind of meh about.
I agree. I agree with that.
I mean, everything that you're saying is right in terms of Ember. We'll get to that though, very shortly.
We'll get to Aurora as well.
Aurora is without a doubt the worst Breaking Benjamin album, and it is the only bad Breaking Benjamin album. And I will echo everything that my brother Christian over here said. Everything he said is true. Everything. They hyped it up as this amazing acoustic collab album, and that's not what we got. Like Christian said, you can't really hear the other artists over Ben. He is definitely the dominant voice in all those songs. The one song that should have been, honestly, they should have all been amazing. I mean, he got amazing vocalist. Come on, the guy from Red, even Scooter from Cold is on there.
I expected to be depressed for that whole song, but I was not.
Exactly. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And that's honestly the worst song on the entire album.
Yeah. Lacey Strum was on it.
So that's who I want to talk about. That song had so much fucking potential. You have one of the top tier Breaking Benjamin songs, and you put the girl from fucking Flyleaf on there, bro. That's gonna be fucking dope. And guess what? It fucking wasn't. It was basically just Dear Agony with, I'm telling you, she said 5 words by herself.
Yeah, she pretty much harmonized in the background for the last half of that song. You're right. I'll give you that one.
It should have been a full-on duet.
She could have sent that one way up there in the charts.
But to be fair, I think Ben realized that she would have overtaken him because she's a better vocalist overall.
And that's a point I was gonna make. Is, I mean, historically speaking, when has Ben Burnley ever let anybody have the spotlight?
When he did ISIS.
ISIS.
So
this is not a political podcast.
No. Iris, I'm sorry, Iris, not ISIS. Iris. When he did that with Monta or something like that. I can't think of her name right now. When they did that song together.
He must have wanted a boner or something. I mean, I'm telling you, like, his story.
She's hot. but of last I heard, he was married.
That's definitely stopped rock vocalists in the past.
Correct. Yeah.
He's gonna fucking listen to this podcast and he's gonna fucking sue us for that shit.
He's gonna hunt me down.
You put me in the fucking doghouse.
He'll sue all y'all, not me. I defended his ass.
But yes, it's a look, I hate saying music is trash. And I hate saying, people are wrong about music because everybody can like their own thing, but this is trash. I hate to be that guy. This trash.
They definitely missed that chance.
And this wasn't an acoustic album. Sorry.
No, it was not.
There were 2 bands that I needed an acoustic album from. One of them was Breaking Benjamin. Thought I was getting it. The other was Stained. I'm still holding out hope for a Stained acoustic album. I got Seether. Best acoustic album of all time. Bar none. Now that is a through and through an acoustic album. This is not.
No, it's not.
Number 6.
Oh, number 6 is going to be my Ember. Ember's going to
So far,
be
so good,
6.
sir. So far, so good.
It's going to get in the middle, and it's going to definitely change. But anyway, number 6, Ember. it was definitely one of those ones that when they came back from their lawsuits and all their other crap, this was what came out. The new band, the new everything, they came back. And
This
as
is the
Chris
last
said,
album, sir.
is it?
Yeah, this one came after. Dark
Oh,
Before Dawn is the
Dark
No.
Before Dawn was right after the
yeah,
lawsuit, huh?
that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, I don't think they really hit their stride until Ember. Like they're like, oh yeah, Ben's not going to sing anymore. Here we go. Say I'm wrong. Say I'm wrong. Because
So do
how
you have
often
Ember at
does
number-
Ben sing?
So do you have Ember at number
No,
6?
Ember's number 6. Yeah, it's gonna
Okay.
be my. Yeah, it's gonna be my number 6. But this is like when I said this is Ben. This is not Ben's album. This is everybody else's album that sings. And I can tell you from going to the concerts, Ben doesn't really sing anymore, unless it is some kind of old school. He only sings his old school songs, really.
Unless it's
All
one of
the
the
new-
good songs.
Yeah, that's the only
Unless
time he
it's
sings.
from one of the first 5 albums.
Right.
The good albums.
So, like Chris said, this album is the beginning. It's magical and definitely brought out their heaviness, but it just shit itself at the end. It did not finish, as they say. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out.
It was in,
Yes, I do.
it was there, and it had the whiskey dick.
Whiskey dick.
It'd be like that sometimes.
It does. Like I said, it was good, but not the greatest. There's all the other albums are far way superior than that one.
Agreed. 100%. All right. My number 6 is Aurora. See, it was only one off from the last. All right.
Dude, it fucking matters.
No,
How's
it
it feel
does
to be
not.
wrong?
Listen though. Listen. I have listening to you two talk about it. I realized why I don't hate it as much as you do, because I didn't even know this motherfucker was coming out before it did. There was no hype for me.
Oh, that's fair.
There was no build up. I just honestly saw it one day and I was like, huh, that's new. And didn't hate it, didn't love it, but at the same time, didn't hate it. I mean, it is not fully acoustic, but I didn't realize that it was actually advertised as fully acoustic, because that's just a straight up lie. It is probably 80% acoustic, but some of the background sounds that they use, like the symbiotes and shit like that, I don't know if they made all the songs the way they wanted to and then they listened to it and they titled it Aurora, or if they decided, hey, we're going to make this album called Aurora, so they put sounds that make you think about looking at the Aurora Borealis in the background. I truly don't. But love it or hate it, it is perfectly titled based off of the symbolism you get between the acoustic instrumentals and the background sounds.
I'll give you that.
The song list is good. The song list is great. They couldn't have. They probably could have replaced Failure and Tourniquet with some better ones, to be honest. But I love that Red Cold River's on there. The acoustic version of So Cold, dude's been singing that shit for like 18 years anyway. Keep your mouth shut. It's my turn. All right. I didn't say a word while you were shitting all over this album, so you can sit back and swallow your mic.
Get him, Chris. Get him.
Dance with the Devil with Adam Gontier. Could I have had more Adam Gontier? Sure. But anytime Ben Burnley features somebody, I expect that person to contribute 25 to 30%. I mean, the fucking band broke up after the 4th album because they were tired of his shit, you know? So it doesn't really surprise me that the featured people aren't featured that much. I would personally just have loved to hear Adam Gontier sing the full length of Dance with the Devil by himself, but I also just love his voice. But still don't think it's the greatest album of all time by any stretch of the imagination. It is ranked 6 out of 7, and the only reason it's better than Ember is because outside of Feed the Wolf, Red Cold River, Tourniquet, Psycho, and The Dark of You, I'm good without the rest of Ember. So, number 6 for me.
Yeah.
Now you may speak.
No, you may speak. You have not permission.
Hold
bitch.
that thought about Failure in just a few minutes, sir. Hold that thought.
Okay.
Ember is at number 6. It has good songs, like both of y'all said. The front half of that album is fucking, it's good, really fucking good. And then once it hits Darker You, it just shits the bed. And it is just not good music whatsoever. It is just
Wait, starting with that song or after that song?
after that song. Darker You is one of the top tier Breaking Benjamin songs.
Okay, no. It's about to get ugly. It's about to get real bad.
Oh God.
It's just, to me, it's just not written as well. The lyrics are just not nearly as good. Now there's a good reason why they went this route and why it's probably not as in depth as some of their other albums. They went more for a live feel with this album. So anything that they can do on this album, they could produce in a live setting. And that's why you lose a lot of the production value, a lot of the extra elements within the music. And I think that honestly hurts it a lot. You go back and listen to some of the first several albums, a lot of production value, lots of added depth to those songs. I'm just saying, I think they traded it off and they made a weaker album because of it. Red Cold River, one of the weakest singles, if not the weakest single that they have ever released. I like the song. It's definitely not one of the best songs out of the first few that the first half of the album. That is definitely not one of the good songs. But
It's definitely more tuned towards the younger audience because my kids love Red Cold River. Absolutely love Red Cold River. I don't see it, but that's just like I said, it's more tuned to the younger.
Mm-hmm. So number 6, and honestly, anything past this point, I can listen to on a regular basis. Ember, good, half of it. Number 5, sir.
Oh, Chris, I fucking love you, dude. Mine's gonna be Dark Before Dawn. Oh, am I?
No, Chris is.
Whoops.
Oh, I was about to say I didn't fucking mute myself.
I missed you, buddy. I missed you too. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Dark Before Dawn's going to be my number 5. Like you said earlier, I could listen to all these next 5 albums whenever and however I want. Just they did not have their songs on there were just not all slappers. They're good listens to, but they're not all like the best of the best on here. I really wish I could give more onto this one, but it just doesn't leave that good taste in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? I can listen to it, but it doesn't, doesn't hit all the sides. You know what I'm saying?
Oh well.
It picks one side. It picks one side, just goes with it. Yeah, I mean, like I was saying earlier, this album they're trying to find themselves, really. New people, Ben trying to be Ben, and then them trying to sing too. You know how that is. We've already discussed it like 5 times. Yeah.
And we'll probably touch on it 5 more.
Indeed. That's all I got for this one, though.
Yeah, no, me too. Well, I say obviously. It is my number 5, but I will tell you, I do not remember enjoying Dark Before Dawn as much as I did when I went back and listened to it. If that means anything at all. I mean, it's...
Oh, I can remember the first time I listened to every one of these albums. The hype, and then just being disappointed in some of them. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I was going to bounce off of what you just said. I agree. Prior to going back and listening to these albums, I would have said this was the worst one.
Yeah, no, it was automatically my number 7 when I made my list before I actually started listening to all of them. But there are some good songs on here that I don't know if I just forgot the songs existed or if I just forgot that they were part of this album,
Yeah,
but either way, right. I do get them mixed up because when I do Breaking Benjamin playlists, I just put them all in there and hit shuffle. So I do get them mixed up, but it's a good album. I mean, it's definitely better than Ember, but I didn't really struggle to put it below the first 4, if that means anything.
Oh, yeah.
I like when we all agree on this.
Yes.
All right. So Dark Before Dawn is obviously my number 5 as well. Let me pull up this track list real quick. Chris mentioned Failure a minute ago and how it shouldn't have been on Aurora. Failure is one of the top tier Breaking Benjamin songs, sir.
I didn't say it wasn't. I just said it shouldn't have been on Aurora. Don't put words in my mouth.
If
No, put words in my
I'll
mouth.
put something in
No,
your
sir.
mouth.
Keep your shit away from my mouth.
Wrong.
If it was an actual acoustic song, that shit would have fucking slapped. But they didn't. And they did whatever they did on the acoustic album. And we got that. And I agree. It's not that great of a song on it. Honestly, they put some great songs on there. They're just not great on that album. But I digress. That's enough of
The execution
trash.
was horrible.
What my man said over there. I'll stop trashing that album. Okay. I'll move on to bigger and better things. Dark Before Dawn, top tier. Failure, one of the top tier singles. Ashes of Eden, really fucking good.
It's my favorite song on the album.
Yep.
Never Again sounds kind of like that is the only throwback song that I noticed on this album, and it's a throwback to We Are Not Alone. I feel like that song could be off of that album. It's a kind of a good mix between Phobia, which, by the way, they've made Phobia fucking 4 times, guys. I'm here to tell you, and every time it's gotten fucking worse.
Here it is. Here it is.
Tell me anything.
It was coming. It was coming.
Phobia on is not Phobia fucking part 2, 3, 4. It all sounds like Phobia. For better or for worse.
Christian, distract him. Distract him. Say something about Pokemon.
Pokemon. Could disturb.
We're losing them
Fuck
fast.
that game. So the songs across the board, I feel like, are pretty even on this album. Like, there's no real high highs, there's no real low lows. It's just a straight across the board. It's an even listen. Whereas Ember was a lot of lows. But yeah, number 5, Dark Before Dawn. Number 4, sir.
Mine's gonna be Saturate.
Dude, we are fucking on point.
I mean, can you tell me any songs besides 2 on that album?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Before you re-listen to it, could you tell me 2 other than 2?
Let's be clear here, okay? Anything from 4 to 1, great albums.
I agree.
Okay.
That's true. That's fair. Yeah, we should point that out.
I agree.
Yes.
These are amazing albums.
Home, Shallow Bay, Polyamorous, No Games, which I told you about No Games. Next to Nothing.
Wish I May, Skin, Natural Life. Yeah, dude, that whole album slaps.
It slaps. I agree with you, but 2 main ones stand out was fucking Polyamorous and Home.
Top tier. Might be this 3rd best Breaking Benjamin song.
Correct. I mean, I agree with you. That was their first. That was their first song. Polyamorous was their very first song, confirmed by Ben. I got that from Ben. You don't have to talk about. Me and him have a connection. It's fine.
Do we need to give you and Ben a second?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
You can watch.
I say second and not minute because it's only going to take a second.
Is this
Dude,
what No Games was written about?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, Saturates. I love this album. This is what got me into Breaking Benjamin. Well, Polyamorous definitely was the main thing that got me. I was like, oh, where the fuck did this come from? Back in the day when you used to listen to 97.9, in the Dell.
Yep.
That you could listen to it, and that popped up. I'm like, who the fuck is that? And I want to. That's before you could point on your phone and Shazam it, or look in the thing. You had to wait till the song was over with, and then hopefully pray the radio guy fucking said the name of the band. Then you had to run to Walmart. Run to Walmart, get you a CD or FYE.
It's like Nom all over again.
Right.
Grenada!
Back in Nom.
But yeah, Saturate's definitely my number 4.
Okay. Yeah, let me just reiterate before I get mauled that these four are again super close. I had to actually count skippable songs versus my overall ratings for each to narrow down these four. But believe it or not, my number 4 is going to be Dear Agony.
I fucking knew he was gonna put that at number 4. I fucking knew it.
I mean, what do you want me to say, man? I love the whole album. I don't really skip any song on any of these albums, but my deal with Dear Agony is the top tier songs are the cream of the crop. They're like some of the best. But the songs that are mid to upper tier, there's just more of those on this album to me than there are the other ones. So I mean, looking at the track list, you got I Will Not Bow, Hopeless, Anthem of the Angels, Lights Out, Dear Agony, and I guess Into the Nothing. I guess my mood swings on that one way or the other. But yeah, it just depends on the day, I guess, and how pissed off I am. But the other ones, Fade Away, Crawl, Hopeless, and Without You, like, again, I love them. They're great songs, but there's just not 4 or 5 songs that I put in that mid to upper tier on all the other albums. So Dear Agony had to land at number 4 for me.
I understand that. I can see that.
Number 4 for me. I'll say my thoughts on Dear Agony. 4 for me is Saturate. It's definitely the outlier in the bunch. It definitely sounds the most different in comparison to all the other albums. This definitely has that underground feel to it. And I've already reviewed this album on the podcast. So if you want to hear my in-depth 30-minute long album review, go to patreon.com/2game. This one has low lows in the very front half of this album. Once it hits that second half of the album, dude, it is fucking high, very high highs. Skin is definitely not one of my favorite songs. Natural Life is kind of when the album starts taking off a little bit. Wish I May is a great song. Polyamorous, like I said, top tier Breaking Benjamin songs. But like Next to Nothing, one of my all-time favorites. And then No Games, I gained a whole new appreciation for that song, and I love that song now that I don't understand what it's about. And then Shallow Bay, great. But like I said, this sounds completely different than the rest of their music, which is probably why I'm so high on it. It's not Phobia, the prequel to Phobia or anything like that. So that's good news. But I will echo the sentiments from Christian. He's kind of hitting all my thoughts.
Indeed.
Number 3.
Sounds like he's hitting more than that.
Oh, he is.
For years. My next one, and this may throw a little off, but my next one's gonna be Dear Agony. I love the album, I do, but it's not above We're Not Alone. There's a lot of slappers on We're Not Alone compared to Dear Agony. I mean, you got Anthem for the Angels, Crawl, Dear Agony, Give Me a Sign, I Will Not Bow. I mean, that was played God knows how many times on the radio.
Oh God, yes.
It will never ever beat Headstrong. No song will ever beat Headstrong on the radio.
Oh no, dude, they ran that dick into the dirt with that song. I was over that by the time I was like 13.
Correct. So, Dear Agony, that I love that song. I love all the thing about it. It's just the other two have more slappers that I can just constantly listen to.
Yeah, heard that. Our list isn't that different actually, man, because my 3 is Saturate. So I just pretty much swapped those 2 from you. But yeah, that was a hard choice. Number 1 and number 2 weren't a decision for me. It was deciding which one to put at number 1, and I'm telling you, it was closer than I thought it would be going into it. But really the only song on Saturate that I skip is Water. And I could listen to it or not, but that's the only reason I gave it the edge over Dear Agony, because I love it.
That was the edge.
That was it.
Because there's only one song that I could do without. I love the rest of the album. I even like Medicate. I didn't really understand why you were shitting all over Medicate while you were doing that review. by like the 18th time you hear the word Medicaid, I get it. You want to hit next, but the first half of the song is fine. Like, it's not that bad.
Man, if only we could judge songs based on half of the damn song.
God
Do you
damn it,
do you
dude.
do you want to make this discussion about your judgment?
Let's fucking go there. Let's go.
No, hell, we got 30 minutes. We're already 22 in. I don't have time for that shit. Saturate's my number 3. Get the fuck over it. What's yours? I had 3 cups of coffee today.
Ready to fucking go.
Ready to go.
So I'm gonna be completely transparent in this. I think prior to doing this review, this album ranking, I would put "We Are Not Alone" at number 3. Dear Agony is, it is Phobia Part 2 through and through. I mean, you can say what you want about the other 2 albums, Ember and Dark Before Dawn. This is legitimately Phobia Part 2. And the songs aren't as good as Phobia 1 because, well, Phobia is, not to give away number 1, but I think we all know what it is. It's the GOAT. So Dear Agony probably would have been number 2 for me. But there's one deciding factor that I'm going to move it to number 3. And that is the last 2 songs on the album, which is Into the Nothing and Without You. Those 2 songs are, in comparison to me, I will compare them to the what is that fucking song? It's off of I'll have to look it up real quick. It's hold on, stand by. Sorry.
What's it off of?
Is it Dark Before Dawn? No, it's off of Ember. That's what it is. Like it's just a forgettable song to me. Okay, like those 2 songs, you could easily just say, did I just listen to, like, you know what? When you're listening to music and you kind of just tune it out and you're not even like paying attention anymore, those 2 songs are that to me. I could just tune them out and not ever pay attention to them. If I ever listen to them again, it would be too soon. So that's why I'm gonna move Dear Agony to number 3. I'm gonna use my head a little bit, and nostalgia is gonna play a little part in this. Number 3.
That's fair. I can tell you through doing all these, Ember probably has the best just nostalgic feeling because it got me through paramedic school. I listened to Ember a disgusting amount. It's the only thing I'm adding to Ember because I forgot to add it earlier. It's the only thing that got me through paramedic school. It really did. All the other ones, just I listened to them, but something about the first couple songs in Ember really, let's see which 2 there were. Torn Into and Blood were the 2 songs that I would listen to on repeat before a test. Didn't matter. Those 2 songs were the ones I would listen to. I don't know where this came from, but that's just, it hit me just now. So, but my number 2 is going to be We're Not Alone, because this song, they have so many slappers on this thing. Firefly, So Cold, Away, Breakdown, Sooner or Later, Follow, Rain. Fucking love me some Rain. Break
Underrated.
My Fall.
Dude, really, yeah, just the whole track list, man.
Like the whole thing. It's just, I mean, I could have done without the 2 different Rains, the 2005 version versus, the new one. I could have, they could have kept that out of that. But other than that,
fair enough.
I mean, they sound different. They do sound different, but the original is still way better. I mean, the whole album's almost good. Like, it's almost perfect, but not. Like, they dropped the ball a little bit, and it's like, oh, you could have had 2 back to back. You could have back to back. Not back to back, but you know what I'm getting at. You'd have had 2 fucking perfect albums in your fucking entourage, but no, you failed. You dropped the ball. Fuck, drop the ball. That's just my opinions.
Okay, I can't say I disagree with you. I mean, it's my number 2 as well. I had to legitimately listen to this and number 1 3 times consecutively to make this choice. But you're right. There's just something there's not a single song on here, minus the re-release, that I didn't just love. And I hit play, I don't skip anything, and as soon as it loops back into, I'm right back into So Cold, and I don't miss a beat. Like I absolutely love this album, and I can't even tell you why the other one is better, because there's probably more standalone songs on this one that I like more than that one.
Correct.
Or I love them all on both, but as far as just standalone songs, but it's just, I don't know. If I could not have a 2 and I could have a 1 and a 1.2, that's what I would do. But I can't. So this one's a
according to
number
Matt,
2
they're
for
all
me as
phobia,
well.
so it's technically the same.
That's
the
just
same.
Not we
True
are not
that.
alone. Not we are not alone. Everything past phobia is phobia. Tell me I'm fucking wrong.
you can honestly though you can hear the transition from Saturate to Phobia in this album though. It's amazing when you go back and you listen to them all in chronological order. Like you can hear the sound evolving, and I just fucking love this CD so much.
I agree.
Oh, I'm sorry, listeners. A CD is something we used to use.
We used to put in our Walkman.
Yes,
Back in Nam.
back in the Nam.
But
yeah, dude, simple design, follow, Firefly. But I just all 11 songs, killer. But still number 2.
Indeed.
Firefly is the weakest song on that album to me,
and it's still strong though
And
to
it's
me.
still
Like I
fucking
mean,
fantastic.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely. When I say weakest, I put air quotes around that because it's not even a weak song.
Right.
If I had to solo one out that would probably be the weakest for me, it would be Sooner or Later, and that was only because it was overplayed.
I mean, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
You know?
Yeah, I will agree with that. So, yeah, We Are Not Alone. Numero 20. That's number 2 for those uninitiated. This is a huge jump in sound quality from Saturate to this. And it's a huge, I won't say it's a huge jump, but like Chris said, it is this nice little transition. You can hear kind of both albums in this one when it gets to Phobia. I think they were able to expand on their sound a lot in this album and make it more mainstream, but also make it kind of like that, like I said, that transitional album, and still kind of give them, what's the word I'm looking for? It's still Breaking Benjamin, even with the more mainstream feel to it. They still have the heaviness to it, which, a lot of bands, they kind of, I will give Breaking Benjamin one thing above all else. Even though they are mainstream, they have never said we are going to stay away from the heaviness. They're not like Linkin Park. I got trash Linkin Park whenever I can. They make 3 albums and they decide to go pop. Breaking Benjamin says, "Fuck no, man. We're gonna do our bread and butter. Our bread and butter is Phobia, but we're gonna do it fucking 5 times. But you're gonna fucking like it though."
And yet I'm rich.
True that.
Like they keep the heaviness in all of these albums, and they have, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 slower songs on those albums, if you even want to call them slower. So I gotta props to them for being mainstream, but also sticking to their sound, for better or for worse. Obviously, So Cold is the highlight of the album. That is top tier. I would put it probably number 2 on the Breaking Benjamin songs list. Follow Away, Breakdown is a fan favorite. It's also one of the most different songs because it has the piano at the very beginning, and then, no pun intended, it hits the breakdown.
True. What an intro.
Right? And that's one of the things that I think Breaking Benjamin is kind of lacking in some of their newer music, is just some of those intros and how different they are in comparison to one another. And it kind of stopped with Phobia, but you can't really take away from them the fact that yes, they had Phobia, but they went lesser.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Okay,
you're gonna say it stopped with Phobia, but then you're gonna say they made Phobia 4 times.
They did. They're just lesser versions of it.
Okay.
They diluted the shit out of Phobia.
Okay, I'll use this analogy, sir.
They didn't titrate to effect.
First Transformers movie, pretty good, right? Pretty good. They just decided to make the same fucking Transformers movie 7 times.
That's fair.
Yep.
That's fair. And they got shittier every time.
I'm not going to defend any of those movies.
So yes, Phobia, fucking amazing. They decided to make that fucking album 5 times, and guess what? You can't fucking recreate that music 5 times and make it as good as the OG. So stick that in your mouth and smoke it, sir.
I told you to fuck off a while ago, so I'll just let you have it.
But yeah,
that's fair.
Believe, underrated song. That fucking song is a banger. Okay, that song fucks.
I forgot how good that song was.
Right.
Number 1.
We all know what a number 1 is, sir. We've talked about it 5 times.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for 40 minutes.
But Phobia is definitely it. Fucking Dance with the Devil, Unknown Soldier, Topless. Like, this whole album is perfect. Like, all I can think of is fucking that fucking meme. Perfect. Down to the last detail. You know?
Yeah.
Evil Angel, fucking Breathe. Not to exclude Diary of Jane. I mean, fuck, that's top fucking tier. Take that from Matt. You can suck it later.
Numero uno.
Like I said, I went recently to their concert, and when I tell you they played all of their bangers, they played Dance with the Devil, fucking Evil Angel, Diary of Jane. They pretty much played Phobia with other songs. It's pretty much what they did, and I'm okay with it. I'm not angry by any means. I had a friend.
Hold on. They played Phobia, but with other songs. I don't know why I thought that was so funny.
From other albums. I didn't even think I had to say it out loud. Since all this is Breaking Benjamin. But yeah. Dude, Unknown Soldier is probably one of my favorites that just, you don't really think about it until it plays. You're like, oh yeah, I'm okay with
Underrated.
this. Fuck, it's so underrated. That's a fucking amazing one. My kids love Phobia. They don't even know it's Phobia, but they know. They know that I know that I know.
They know you know they know you know.
That I know that you know. But yeah, perfect. It's just perfect. I can listen to this whole album pretty much all day and be happy. Just 2006 was a good year, sir. It's a good year.
Oh, it was.
It was a good
True
year.
that.
Chris, how about you, sir?
No, everything you just said, man. Everything you just said. And I think I finally, as I'm looking at it now, thinking about how all the songs play in transition, what actually pushed it. Well, I say pushed. I already assumed it was my number 1 going into this, but what cemented it is the flow of the songs. So if you just knew the singles and you hadn't heard the rest of the album, you knock out the singles in the first 4 or 5 songs, but the album never stops. Each song flows perfectly into the next one. Even as you get to the end, you go from Unknown Soldier and you increase the tempo to Had Enough, where you just want to punch through a brick wall, and it slows down to You Fight Me, and then You Fight Me goes into the outro, and you never even know the song skips, to be honest with you. It almost plays instrumentally like a concept album, even though it's not one, because the outro just rolls you right back into the intro, and then next thing you know, you're all the way back to Evil Angel, and you're thinking, wait, I just heard this shit like 30 minutes ago. But you don't care because it's just that good. So, yeah, hands down, number 1.
Well, no surprise. Phobia, number 1.
I wasn't surprised.
Look, this is the GOAT album, okay? This is the greatest rock album ever made. And there's not going to be an album that ever tops it. I promise you. You go ask anybody who, except Chris, because he's the only one that obviously had issues ranking this number 1. But go ask any other Breaking Benjamin fan out there, and Phobia is without a doubt number 1. Best rock album of all time. It has the best song of all time, Diary of Jane. So it's definitely the best Breaking Benjamin song of all time. This, like Chris and Christian have mentioned, it is banger after banger, and it never lets up. And they just did such a great job of, like I said, hitting that mainstream feel, but also bringing like the catchy choruses with the mainstream, but also bringing the heaviness. This album, I think vocally, it is, if you go from the first 3 albums, vocally with the screams, this is probably their least heavy album.
I agree.
They don't scream a whole bunch.
Probably, yeah.
But if you go sonically, I mean, this is just as heavy as Saturate. I think We Are Not Alone is probably a little less heavier in terms of sound in comparison to the first 3 albums. But this one's pretty fucking heavy, even with the more melodic choruses and vocals and whatnot. The songwriting is top tier. And then track list, Breath, top tier. Evil Angel, Until the End, Had Enough. Had Enough, bro, that song fucking hits. It fucking hits. Greedy Little Bastard. Yeah. Greedy Little Bastard is such a fucking great lyric.
Right.
Yeah. No, that song makes you just want to punch through a wall.
Yes.
It does.
Punch a small child. Yes.
Hunt a puppy off a bridge.
How do you make an intro and an outro sound just as good in an album? Like some album intros and outros are like shit. You're like, skip in a minute. No, this Phobia, you just play and just let it roll.
And yeah, album, how do you let the outro roll back into the intro so well?
Right.
Like,
So I mentioned this on a recent review that I've done for the Wall of Death podcast, and that was there are a few different albums out there. There are ones that are album experiences where you don't really listen to the songs outside of the album. It's just one whole experience. And then you have a singles experience where the album works by itself. It's a great album, works by itself, but maybe not as cohesive as others, right? This one works as it's typically not both. You typically don't get both. The one that just, it flows from the beginning to the end, and you can also listen to them individually. It's some form of slut magic to get that fucking lightning to strike twice.
That's slut magic, man.
Slut magic.
They nailed it
every time. This one is an album experience from beginning to end, and then you can listen to all these songs individually, and that's why it is the GOAT. Nostalgia 100% does not play a part in this. This is me being unbiased, but nostalgic wise, this is what I think of when I think of my high school years. I think about this fucking album. I think about driving my fucking Ford Ranger, my white beat up Ford Ranger down the fucking roads of Petal, Mississippi, and fucking just having this shit on fucking repeat. This is without a doubt one of the best albums of all time. I think it's definitely in my top 10 of all time. It's kind of gone down a little bit, but I don't give many 5 stars out. 5 stars. Phobia.
Indeed.
Y'all have any other thoughts of anything Breaking Benjamin?
Nope.
Actually, right, yeah, one more. I'm sorry. Their overall best song wasn't on any of these albums. It was on the EP. And for me, that was Blow Me Away. The Halo song.
I mean, I could agree with that's one of their good songs, but it's not their best.
No,
so the question is,
I will take best away and say personal favorite.
There you go. I mean, it's a good song. It's fucking amazing. I don't like the remix, but I do like the original.
OG, not the one with the chick in it. I don't remember her name.
No.
Ballora.
The one that broke up the band.
It was all right.
Ballora.
What?
That was the song that broke up the band.
That was the song that broke up the band. Unfortunately. I mean,
that is, I will go one step further and say that is one of the best. That is I'd have to do some more research, but off the top of my head, shooting from the hip here, that is the best non-album single of all time.
Okay, I'll take it. Thank you.
Yeah, because I remember when that song came out, and we're like, "Where the fuck is this on the album?" And you had to, like, I'm telling you, Slut Magic, aka LimeWire, you had to get that shit.
Yeah, because the only one that was close to it was Away. Away was the only one that was close enough to it, if I remember correctly. It wasn't, obviously it wasn't the same song, but it was still one that a lot of people would go to the album and go, is that it? No. Because it started off almost identical, and then it, obviously transitioned differently, but
Very differently.
very differently. But it was definitely one of those ones, because I remember when that song came out, I'm like, where the fuck is it? I need this more. I need more of it.
That's the song I think about when I think about playing Xbox at Tyler's house.
Oh,
Blow
yeah,
Me Away
dude.
is right there.
Oh yeah.
Literally, the first time I heard it, when that Halo intro hit, I was just like, I don't know what the fuck this is, but I know I'm gonna love it.
Yep.
And sure enough,
I
think about
stayed
Time Splitters.
I stayed in fucking the Halo, the match in Halo, that level. I just stayed in there, listened to those songs, just all play the whole time. The whole
it was
fucking time.
Valhalla, wasn't it? Pretty sure that was the Valhalla map.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, I'm done. Sorry, I got distracted.
Squirrel.
Pretty much.
All right, guys. Well, you let us know if you're on YouTube. Let us know in the comments below of, are we right? Are we wrong? If Chris is wrong, go ahead and let him know in the comments, because he probably was. But
and you can also tell Primo if he's being a dick. I'll allow it.
That's always. He's always a dick. You can't say that. He's always
It's
a dick.
fine. I was a dick too. I deserve part of it, I guess.
I love doing this with y'all. Love it. Guys, let us know in the comments below what you think about our rankings, and go support us at patreon.com/2game. And that's going to be it from us, and we will catch y'all next time on another episode. Laters.
Peace out.